to speak up about any of this that you have comments on, questions on, that kind of touches you. In my opinion, the value of this chapter is to get you thinking, right? I don't care that you pass or fail a test about career longevity. I care that you think about career longevity. And what I really care about is that you start to recognize that your well-being has a lot to do with how well you can give to others, right? You can't be completely selfless. It's actually not very good because you have nothing to give, right? Okay, so let's talk about this real fast. There's a big myth out there about career longevity for massage therapists. And the myth is that massage therapists don't stay massage therapists very long. This myth is a myth. It's not true, actually. It is propagated, though, off some very real evidence. And that very real evidence is that many people pick massage therapy for a go-between field. So they get out of high school, they become a massage therapist for 5 years while they become a physical therapist, and they leave massage therapy. It's a very great stepping stone kind of career. And so we see that, and so we see higher turnover in massage therapy, but what we do not see from all the stats is really shorter careers due to the physical nature of it, or shorter careers due to anything else. In fact, I'm now old enough to know a lot of career therapists. Hold on, I've got to mute. There we go, Ms. Torres. I now know a lot of career massage therapists who have been massage therapists to the age of retirement, to the age of 65. And actually some of our top performers at the Princess were our oldest therapists. So it can be done. It can be done. And my friend, whose name is Mike, ironically works at the Princess, has now been doing massage probably a straight 25 years, almost. I think almost all of it there. 20 years there at least. So anyway, it can be a very long career. This isn't that important, by the way. We'll get to this in a second. They liken massage therapy to nursing and some other fields that are out there, and that's because of the physicality of it. They figure that you guys are very similar to nurses in the sense of the strains on your body. Nurses have to move bodies around. You have to move bodies around. Nurses are on their feet long periods of time. You're on your feet long periods of time. Things like this. So a lot of the studies that they do, if they don't do them on massage therapists, they compare us often to nursing and fields like that, and teaching, by the way. But massage therapy is considered much more physical than that. We're going to talk about just these dimensions of wellness, and that's in this term by wellness, they almost mean a well-lived life, because they mean emotional wellness and physical wellness and occupational wellness and spiritual wellness. Do you find value out of what you're doing? And all the studies show that if you find value out of being a massage therapist or a teacher or whatever you do, that it tends to go much, much better for you. We don't actually want you in this field if you don't find value, if you don't believe that you're not actually helping other people. And hopefully that's why you picked the field. And a little sales pitch for massage therapy that I've said before, but I want you to remember again now when it comes to adding value, that you will have occupational wellness, is that you will spend more quality time with some of your clients than they will with anybody else in their life. Now, to me, that's a little sad that they don't have somebody they're spending that much quality time with. But for many people, nobody gives them an hour of undivided attention every week. And if that seems strange to you, it's because somebody does give you an hour of undivided attention every week. And that's fantastic. I'm glad they should. But for many people, nobody gives them an hour of undivided attention where it's all about them a week, and you will be that person. And every study shows that that adds to longevity for them as well. Dramatically. That said, massage is classified as a strenuous occupation. It is physically demanding. Ms. Petrie is nodding her head because she has done it. It is not easy. By the way, at the right location with the right company, it's low stress. But it is hard work. It is hard work. There's just no doubt about it. Your book is going to ask you, this is kind of, the wellness chapter, so they want you aware that you really should be doing some type of cardiovascular. They said cardiorespiratory, right? So they're mixing your cardiovascular system with your pulmonary system. Remember those two systems? One is your heart, one is your lungs. They have to work together. Your heart's not pumping oxygen around if it doesn't get any oxygen in. But 150 minutes a week, which is quite a bit, right? It's about 4 30-minute sessions a week. They recommend resistance training, strength training 2 to 3 times a week. And by the way, neuromotor exercise is now something that lots of places are recommending, especially for older folks, which unfortunately is starting to fall in this category. Neuromotor exercises are exercises that actually exercise your mind-muscle connection. So I'll give you a great example, because it's one of the reasons I do it, ballroom dancing. Having to learn steps and then get my body to do them is neuromotor exercise, and it's been linked to reduced instances of Alzheimer's and things like that. It keeps your brain connected to your body. There's a lot of belief in massage therapy that you rubbing people helps keep them connected to their body. Think about it. Right now, you're not thinking about what your back feels like, or the back of your knee, or your heel, right? You're not actually aware of your entire body until I mention those things. Well, touching somebody actually helps their brain link up their neural network to their body. So it's very, very, very healthy for them. It's one of the things that we do, intuitionally with children, right? We touch them a lot, and it helps them kind of figure out where their body is in space. Very, very important. I'm going to talk to you briefly about nutrition. We are not nutritionists, by the way. We cannot give nutritional advice to clients. You can tell them about what you do, though. You can be like, I make strawberry smoothies in the morning with a really wicked blender. I'm not saying you should, but I'm saying after I've had 17 cups of coffee with 4 gallons of cream, that then I have a smoothie to balance it all out. There are 2 big categories of nutrients, macro and micro. I'm bringing these up for another reason. I want you to actually learn what the words macro and micro mean, because we'll talk about it in massage therapy. Macro actually means large, like Big Mac. And micro means small, like microscope. So the reason I say that, yes, I want you to learn these about nutrition. So proteins and carbohydrates and fats are big nutritional items that you need in large quantities, basically. Micronutrients are little things like vitamins and minerals that you need in very, very, very tiny amounts, actually. And so they're micronutrients, they're small nutrients. But I want you to know what these names mean, too, because sometimes you'll hear me talk about macro stretching and micro stretching. If I push my arm out like this is a large stretch. I'm stretching out my bicep right now, my biceps brachii. That's a macro stretch. When I push in right here, that's a micro stretch. I'm now stretching an area by pushing in on this area. It's a micro stretch. So that's micro and macro together. And I tend to like to mix my stuff so that I'm turbocharging my stretches. Hold on, everybody. I have a substitute teacher who's looking at me kind of funny right now. Hold on 1 second.
Can I triple people up if somebody is absent, or is that against COVID rules?
I don't know the answer to that.
I know.
Damn it. I don't know the answer. So, do they have nobody to work with?
Correct.
Yeah, then make them work with somebody, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they got to work. You're right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, everybody. Anyway, so macro is big, right? When we did the immune system, I don't know if you remember, but you remember macrophages? They're big cell-eating cells. Macrophage actually means big eater. And they're these cells that come along and they, like Pac-Man, and they eat like cancer cells. Those are macrophages. Anyway, just trying to use the word. Macro and micro. Let's talk about nutrients really quick. Proteins are the building blocks for the body. Protein are the building blocks for the body. However, they are not contrary to common belief, the most important nutrient you get. In terms of truly keeping you alive, probably the most important nutrient you get are carbohydrates because they provide the energy for your body. Carbohydrates are sugars. They really are. And complex carbohydrates are just complex sugars. We'll come back to proteins in a second. But your body lives off sugar. It's a sugar-eating machine, right? And so you're like, well, why can't I just eat candy bars then? Because your body doesn't like a whole lot of sugar at once. What it likes is complex carbohydrates. And complex carbohydrates, if this is a sugar, and that's a sugar, and that's a sugar, and that's a sugar, if you eat table sugar or a candy bar, it's like this. And all these little sugars come into my body, and all the ink gets out at once. That's sugar. That's a simple carbohydrate. Complex carbohydrates look like this. And the reason your body likes them is your body takes them in like this and breaks them apart. And it takes a while to break them apart, so it gets tiny bits of sugar every so often, which is actually what it needs. Kind of like your car, right? It doesn't need all the gas in the gas tank at once. It needs it broken up. So simple sugars or simple carbohydrates are like table sugar. Complex carbohydrates are vegetables and potatoes and breads and things like that, and grains, and they actually have lots of sugar in them, but your body has to break them apart before it can use them, and that slowing down process seems to be something your body really likes. All great societies in the world have been raised on some type of very stable carbohydrate product. So the United States of America, actually our stable carbohydrate product is corn. Wheat too, but corn. We use it to feed all sorts of things and provide massive amounts of carbohydrates. So if you look at it, corn and wheat are in just about everything out there, or some modified version of it. A lot of Asian parts of the world, rice. Rice has been one of their staples. Ireland, it was potatoes. These are all carbohydrates. Stable carbohydrates that you can grow in massive quantities. That's what keeps societies alive. Now, proteins, though, are how you actually build your body. Yes, Mr. Kondaris, please, talk to me.
I was going to say a not so fun fact. Because of Monsanto, it's almost impossible to find organic corn in America now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole soapbox that sounds like you and I could get on. But I'll try not to be the liberal college teacher right now. But yes, yeah, what he's talking about is modified grains, where somebody has genetically modified the grains. And Monsanto is known, it's a seed company, but they've known for kind of dominating the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm not liberal, but we can agree on things with that subject.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, so yeah, the problem is their seeds get into everything, and then they charge people to use those seeds. So, yeah, they're kind of tricky. And the worry is, if you believe in this, the worry is, by the way, that we have less diversity in our food, and we actually need diversity, because diversity survives things like climate change and stuff like that. You don't just want to have one kind of tomato out there. Because also, if a bug decides it likes that tomato, that bug could go nuts. Okay, proteins. Proteins are made up of chains of amino acids. And you'll sometimes hear people talk about complete proteins. Complete proteins have 8 essential amino acids in them. What is significant about that? Those 8 essential amino acids can make up all the other amino acids to make a complete protein. So if you get these 8 essential amino acids in your body can make protein. It's what your body needs to make protein. There's something like 22 amino acids, but with these 8 essential ones, your body can make the missing ones. And so if you get these into your body, you get protein into your body. Great sources of protein are adorable little animals, cute fish, stuff from animals, milk and eggs, but also, by the way, legumes, beans, and nuts. So, last but not least, fats. Fats do a number of things, by the way. It's kind of gotten a bad rap in our society because we're a very well-fed society, so we are not trying to get calories in. But if you lived in a poor community somewhere, fat would make up a very important part of your diet because fat is very high in calories. And that can be a very good thing if you're trying to get calories in and stay alive. Fat does some other really important stuff, by the way, everybody. Don't forget that it acts as an insulator in your body, and it acts as a protector of your body. And last, and certainly not least, it carries a lot of hormones and vitamins around your body. So some of the vitamins in your body are fat soluble. Things like vitamin A and vitamin E come to mind. And they're fat soluble and they wouldn't travel around your body without fat. You actually need them. Yeah. By the way, fat soluble vitamins also tend to be the vitamins that you can actually OD on. So you can't, vitamin C, for example, is a water soluble vitamin. You can't OD on it. I mean, you could probably eat it all day long, just the pills, and take 90 billion times what you need, and probably nothing would happen. But vitamin A, you can actually OD on. And the weird thing is the symptoms of a vitamin A overdose are the symptoms of a vitamin A underdose. So people say, oh gosh, I'm having these symptoms, and they look them up and they go, I must not be getting enough vitamin A. For one thing, it's very unlikely in our society that you're not getting enough vitamin A. But be careful with stuff like that. Fat-soluble vitamins you can actually take too much of, especially over time, by the way. We're not talking about one day. We're talking about people who are like, well, I should keep taking more, and I'm getting these symptoms of vitamin A depletion. I should take more, and they end up actually taking more and more of something they need less and less of. So more is not always better on vitamins. Okay? And there's a lot of argument out there about taking vitamins that I do not have a strong opinion about either way. But some people really feel that they're really necessary and really helpful. Other people feel like you are just peeing them down the toilet. Yes, Mr. Kandaris.
I was going to say it's all about that D, C, and zinc. And the reason about the absorption rate is because in stores, like the store-bought ones, like those are all very low quality, low absorption rates. So yeah. You do pee them up. But if you're getting good brands like Thorn or Pure Encapsulations, or there's a bunch of other ones, it has a higher absorption rate, so you're actually not pissing it out.
Yeah, good point. So the quality matters is what you're saying.
Yes.
Good. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have to really say about that. Don't forget about the power of water. Remember, one of the beauties of water is that you are essentially a giant plastic sack with a hole in both ends. And as lovely a visual as that is, every time you drink water, you give your body the chance to balance out its chemical constitution. And if that chemical constitution is off inside your body, it can kill you. It's not good. And when you drink water, your body has a chance to say, I have too much salt in here, I have too much whatever in here, I'm going to let it go, or I'm not. And that's one of the advantages of water. We definitely all need to stay hydrated. But the other advantage is it allows you to rebalance out your chemical makeup in your body every time you take a drink of water. By the way, you get a lot of water depending on what your diet is. If you eat lots of fruits and vegetables, you're getting a lot of water from your fruits and vegetables. There's actually a lot of water in them. So if you're eating lots of processed foods, you might need to drink more water because there's less water in those things. Food and Drug Administration puts out recommendations for eating. There is, by the way, a lot of controversy over this right now. So, big food manufacturers lobby to get certain stuff put in the food pyramid. That's a fact that nobody, argues. And so, we just wonder if the food pyramid is always to the best of everybody's benefit. There's a lot of argument that some of it's not. So anyway, right now there's a huge battle going on between the dairy industry especially and the food pyramid and stuff like that. A lot of people arguing It's not right. There's a lot of people out there that are lactose intolerant. And so, I don't even know what else to say about that. I mean, I've got lots more to say about it, but it's not important to this lecture. Anyway, sleep. Sleep is considered the number 2 best thing you can do for your health. Because why? Because it puts you in a state of what? What state does it put you in?
Relaxation.
Body will heal.
What'd you say, Mr. Gandars?
The only way the body can actually heal.
Yeah, so what's that state called?
Repair.
It is a repair state, but what's the nervous system state when you're in that state of repair?
Rest and digest.
It is rest and digest. What is the state called?
Okay.
You're very right, by the way.
Hold your horses. Don't put that pressure on them.
Miss Cooper, you have your hand up.
Is it homeostasis?
Homeostasis is when you are in balance. That is good.
Parasympathetic.
Parasympathetic state, yes. By the way, I don't mean this in a snotty way, but every massage therapist should know that, so burn that into your brains right now. Parasympathetic state. Parasympathetic state is a state of your nervous system when it is in rest and digest, yes. And when you go to sleep, in general, you're in the parasympathetic state, and that is when you are literally fighting cancer, rebuilding bones, not to mention the mental benefits. Have you ever woken up from a sleep and been like, wow, I actually feel a lot better about XYZ? Like, you just needed to sleep on it a little bit. It's when your brain processes and reorganizes information. Have you ever had a day in class where you didn't know anything and then you slept on it the next day, you actually knew it better? I hope you have.
That's why I always do my homework first thing in the morning.
We see this a lot, by the way, in learning when they taught, yeah, right. But we see a lot in learning, by the way, where we actually find there is a time period needed of non-teaching and non-studying where people's memory improves. It's very interesting. So sleep, 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 sleep. Yes, Miss Monreal, please.
Yeah, I wasn't joking. I am so dead tired by the end of the day mentally that I cannot focus on my homework.
Got
So when I get up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I could be reading the same thing that I read the night before, and my brain was blank.
Yeah,
And in the morning, I can totally tackle it super quick.
right, good point. And you're like, it's now 7:55, I think I'll do my homework.
Okay, whatever, not that bad.
Hey, it's amazing sometimes. I'm like, this is amazing. Miss Cooper, you still have your hand up? Did you have something to say, madam?
No.
Okay. Anyway, I'm making such a big deal out about sleep because there's a little bit of a badge of honor in our country about like, oh, I didn't get any sleep last night, I'm working all the time, all that kind of stuff. Don't be that person. It really is extremely dangerous to your health. Extremely dangerous. It really is the second most important thing you can do for your general health. It fixes a lot of other problems. People who get good night's sleep, 8 hours. People who take afternoon naps, fantastic. Sleep, 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 sleep. It's really, at some point I realize if you're depressed, 15 hours a day is too much. But the point is, in general, sleep, 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 sleep. And even if you're depressed, I always feel like going to sleep is not a bad choice to make based on all the other choices you can make. So, it's not because of sleep, it's because of what the sleep allows your body to do, which is what it's designed to do. Get a good night's sleep. Cool. By the way, what's the first most beneficial thing you can do for your health?
Drink water. No?
I know if you drink no water, that's going to be a problem. Relationships.
Oh, well, that was my daughter's answer. I'll tell her not to listen into my class.
Yeah, tell her she's right. Strong primary and secondary relationships. And by the way, at the bare minimum, we all have a secondary relationship, which means we're really good acquaintances. Primary relationships would be your mothers, your fathers, your boyfriends, your kids, your best friend. But strong primary and secondary relationships are a stronger indicator of whether you'll be here next year or not, than smoking. I am better off, don't do it, but I am better off smoking a pack of cigarettes a day and having good friends than not smoking and not having those friends. My health, I'm more likely to live to the next year. Smoking! The number one thing you can do is have good, healthy relationships in your life. Number one. And then get a good night's sleep. Number two. Then, by the way, then comes not smoking, and then comes exercise. Yeah. So, good.
Wait, are you saying like in your opinion, or is that like according to data? Even though I agree.
No. There's data out there. Now, don't get me wrong, Ms. Monreal. There might be data that contradicts that. I totally get it. But no, there's legitimate scientific data on it. In fact, maybe I'll have us do a little assignment that actually goes over some of that data. I'll check
Well,
that.
I agree completely. I just wondered if you were just stating it as your opinion.
No. The longevity studies they've done, so they've got 2 longevity studies out there that are really interesting. One is the, I want to say Harvard, but it might not be. But it's a 75-year-long longevity study. So they actually tracked children to death. Really large groups. And then they tracked their families and all sorts of stuff. And those longevity studies came back that ironically, primary and secondary relationships are actually some of the most important factors of how long they lived. Beyond exercise, beyond smoking, beyond drinking, beyond things that we know are bad for you. They weren't saying these things aren't bad for you.
And I remember the TED Talk that we listened to, even though I've listened to other things on like the blue zone and the connectivity, you know, of community and all of that, and how it benefits your lifespan.
Yeah, exactly. So there's actually quite a few studies out there now that really, really support this. And I tend to trust longevity studies and also where we look at entire large groups. So, for example, everybody argues about diet. But what I really like to look at is let's look at large populations that eat a certain way, like an entire country, and compare their health, their longevity to other countries that eat a different way. And I think it tells you a lot more about their diet than me arguing over whether you should have more carbs or not or whatever, that kind of thing. So I like large case studies because I feel like they provide lots of real solid numbers and evidence. But yeah, so the case studies really do show that. So that's why it makes me so happy when you guys tell me that you have strong primary relationships in your life, and that you're trying to get a good night's sleep. Because that's the 20% that makes 80% of the difference in your life. Okay. There's also something called occupational wellness, which is, by the way, how happy you are at work. And that is something you have to closely monitor too. And it is important you work in some place where you like the people you work with and you like the work you're doing. And I would say if you've been to multiple places and you didn't like the people you work with, it's probably you. But if most places you like the people you work with and you just don't happen to at this one place, I would leave that place. Right? So the difference is there a pattern of, gosh, I don't seem to get along anywhere I go, but it's them, them, them. No, it's not. It's probably you. But if it's just an unusual situation where you're like, no, I'm just not happy here, leave. Go someplace where you're happy. Life is short. You really, really want to enjoy your massage. Or whatever you do. Oh, it doesn't have to be massage. Compassion fatigue. This is real. Yes, right? How are you doing today, Miss Shaunis? How is everything going, Miss Shaunis? Everything okay? How's that thing going at home? How are your shoulders doing? Oh, I completely understand. You really mean these. I don't know why Miss Shaunis became my client there, but she did. Probably because I was just looking at her. But the fact is, giving is hard. And you really can get fatigued. And you can get kind of tired of hearing people complain because it's not your time to complain. Don't do that. Right? When they're complaining, it's not time for you to be like, yeah, my shoulder's really bothering me too. And my boyfriend, he's a pain in the butt too. No, it's their time. But that can give you real fatigue after a while. So how do we fight compassion fatigue? Because we do need to be compassionate and our clients really need it. And it's a real thing. So what do we do about it? What do you guys do about your compassion fatigue? I mean, you guys have to show compassion towards kids and boyfriends and girlfriends and horses and dogs and neighbors and things like that and parents and such. What do you do? Yes, Miss Monreal.
Well, I think it's important to try to be there for people, but you don't take it on yourself. And just drawing that boundary line for yourself. If there's nothing that you can contribute or do about it without taking their problems on, then you just need to leave it alone.
I love this answer, by the way. I love this answer. I agree. Everybody be very careful. A lot of people are like, oh, I picked up their bad energy. No, you didn't. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. You're not helping somebody. You're not helping somebody who's drowning by drowning with them. It's very true.
And I think we have to try to not fix people's problems.
Yes.
You gotta let them do it. You can listen, but they gotta do it themselves.
The same philosophy we use in massage, right? We're not healing people. We are increasing blood flow, and we are lengthening fascia, and we're helping them stand more erect, and we're doing all those things, but we're not healing them. Their body takes care of that, right? And you're not fixing their problems. You're there to listen and be a sounding board. It's okay to be a sounding board. That means you echo back to them what they've said. But that's it. Yes, Miss Petrie, please.
Yeah, it's really hard as a massage therapist when you get to your burnout mode.
Yeah.
It's really challenging. I had to get out of it completely.
Yeah.
Because I was so burnt out. And the thing is, like, you need to figure out how many people, clientele you can actually take on a day and not go past that limit.
So you feel like some of your burnout.
At the print set.
So you think some of your burnout was due to volume itself?
Yeah, I think that I was causing so much aches and pains in my body from overworking it and not actually paying attention to my limits.
Yeah, well said.
I think that's part of it. That definitely doesn't.
No. I think it's huge.
It's made a part. Yeah.
If you max yourself out and you take on more than you should, that's going to lead to you being tired and achy. It's going to lead to resentment. That's going to lead to burnout. Yeah, I think it's well said. So Ms. Monreal said taking on other people's problems when you can't fix them anyway, and you just said doing too much, literally too much, especially over time. Those things lead to burnout. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, Ms. Hanson.
I just wanted to ask Jen a question about what do you think your limit is on how many people a day?
I mean, everybody's different. I mean, really, there's no good way to answer that. I'm sorry that I don't have like a number.
Do you have a number for you now?
I thought mine was high, and it should not have been that high. I mean, I was working 6 days a week, morning to close.
Yeah.
I mean, I burnt myself out. I was doing 8 to 10 massages a day.
It's a lot.
And yeah, for a solid, I don't know, close to a year.
And that's enough just to... You can usually get away with that kind of volume for a week or a month, but that's about it. Most people can't do it.
Right.
And Miss Petrie's strong. She's strong, but it's hard. I have done that volume myself before when I was in the best shape of my life, and it was still very hard to maintain. By the way, Miss Hanson, most people consider 30 to 32 hours full-time for a massage therapist. So that would be 6 massages a day, 5 days a week, and most people consider what Ms. Petrie's talking about is even a higher volume than that. I don't know many people who can do higher than that on a consistent basis. 32 hours is it.
Ms. Hanson, are you just... Oh, go ahead, Ms. Petrie.
And that's part of the reason that a lot of massage therapists also get their license in esthetician work, because it gives them that break on their body to do something different with their body, so it doesn't cause as much pain in the same areas for so long.
Yeah.
That they're able to kind of switch it up in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Ms. Hanson, I just wondered if you were wondering just like to get an idea, to gauge of what you would maybe think was normal. Is that why you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, no more than 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's considered full time for a massage therapist.
Yeah, that's some people only do like 4 even, 4 to 6.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's when I got back into massage therapy, I could do 3 hours tops.
Mhm.
And because I
Yeah.
was so in such a bad
Yeah.
way with my whole entire body that I was literally doing 3 hours tops.
I can believe
couldn't
that.
do any more than that.
Yeah, I have to admit, I actually did a massage like 6 months ago on a couple. It was like 3 hours between the two of them, and it was tiring because I don't do regular massage anymore. But Miss Hanson, I got the feeling, and I don't know how much you want to discuss, that you were not necessarily looking for full-time work. You were looking for work to fit around your family.
Yes, that's
Okay.
true.
So here's the cool part then. If you are in a situation where you don't need immediate full-time income, then you're going to be doing a lot of private clients probably, and they're going to be coming to you via referral. And what's going to happen is you're going to start with 2 people a week if you're lucky. And then they will kind of grow a little bit before you know, and you'll kind of ramp up and build up slowly, and then you'll get to this point where you'll be like, eh. And for you, I actually suspect the problem is not going to be physical. The problem is going to be like, I'm running out of time to spend with my kids, my husband, right? Because you only have so many hours a day. I mean, what could you possibly do? Maybe 2 a night? Maybe fit 2 massages in a day when the kids are at school, or you know what I mean? I just don't know where you're going to do these. So I think you're going to be fine. But I can tell you that the criteria in the industry is 6 hours a day, and Ms. Petrie is right. Some people do less. But I know a lot of people do 6 hours a day. Like my friend Mike's been doing roughly 6 hours a day for about 20 years, 5 days a week, roughly. But it depends on how busy they are and things like that. And I know many people have done that before, but that is a demanding schedule, even that. Ms. Cooper, you had your hand up? Ms. Cooper?
Oh, yes, I have my hand raised, sorry.
That's okay.
Totally forgot that I have my hand raised. But, so we were talking about compassion fatigue, right?
Yeah.
I meditate.
Good. Excellent
It
answer.
is the best cure for that, honestly.
Good.
I haven't really found anything else that works as well.
Yeah.
And then after I do it, I feel like I'm ready to face people again.
Good. I love that. That is your solution. I don't mean it like that's your solution, nobody else's. What I meant, like that's a very good one. You have to find your kind of personal solution. Meditating is great. By the way, anything, and I'm not suggesting meditating is really selfish, but it is very self-centered, right? You're focusing on, you know.
It's good to focus on yourself like that, though.
It is. That's what I was about to say is compassion fatigue is generally combated by doing selfish stuff. Now, we don't mean selfish stuff like stealing the toys from the other children and keeping them to yourself. But we mean selfish stuff like, I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time with, you know, this person. It means something to me. I want to do this thing for myself. Compassion fatigue seems to be battled best by doing stuff for you. And like what Miss Petrie's talking about, if you're doing 10 hours of massage a day, there is no time for you. There is no you anymore. So not only is she physically maxed out, there literally is no time to do those kind of things where you feel filled up. It's honestly something I really try to do on my weekends, right? Because my job is to come back and be available and compassionate to you guys. And so I really try to make sure I enjoy my weekends. So I come back and I'm like, I'm ready to give. Otherwise I come back and I'm like, hey. Right? Ms. Torres, you have your hand up.
I was gonna say that it also depends on the type of massage that you do. So, or the type of pressure you have.
Sure.
That determines how many massage can you do in a day,
Sure.
or how many hours can you work, or how many days can you work.
It's true. I agree. Except I basically agree, except I will tell you in the long run, for me, even the deep massage, yes, the deep massage was harder than the light massage in a way, but really it was just the hours standing. Like, no matter, even if I'm doing light, I'm still standing there for 6 hours a day. Like it, and it's never that light. I mean, I gotta tell you, I mean, there's just not that big a calling for it. So I also found that it's just the stress of doing any job. You know, it's tiring. You have, Ms. Torres, have the advantage, by the way, now of doing exactly what Ms. Petrie talked about, though, which is aesthetics and massage.
Yeah, I get to sit down on my aesthetics.
Yeah, and you get to refer your aesthetics client to your massage, and your massage clients to your aesthetics. So you can do the thing that I value the most, which is upselling your clients, because I'd rather actually have 10 really good clients than 100 okay ones. I really would. So, right? So
I'll be like, you need a back facial?
yes, that's exactly right. Like, why wouldn't I just spend 3 hours with you? Why go other places? I can get my waxing done there, get my facial, get my deep tissue massage, get it all. Yeah, I love that. Ms. Hanson, do you have anything else to share? Oh, okay. All right, so compassion fatigue, take care of you. And I don't just mean take care of you, like prioritize you. Leave work at work. Please try to leave work at work. Right? You're not helping other people. All the studies also show that one of the best things you can do for your clients is to set a good example for them. Right? Don't tell them to take care of themselves when you're not taking care of yourself. Okay. I think we've all seen this in our classroom. Being part of a positive and supportive community can help with burnout. It's one of the reasons I do gratitude with you guys every day. You're helping my burnout. Right? I start my day with you reminding me why you are important and why this is important. And I really do. And then I start my day with, oh my gosh, yeah, the sunrise and horses and boyfriends and families and houses and sunsets and, children and all these things. It reminds me of why we're all here. It's really, really, really helpful. I don't have anything else to say. So, stress. Stress is the body's response to demands placed on it by stressors. Really by stimulus. So, just a thought for all of you. Remember when we studied the nervous system? And I said that you don't really feel pain. I said that what happens is a signal goes to your brain, and I realize that, tell me that after I've hit my finger with a hammer and be like, you're not feeling pain right now. I'll be like, screw you! I'm feeling pain. But my point is that your brain interprets these messages and then says, I'm going to say this is painful, so this person pulls their thumb back. Stress is a little bit the same way, right? Some of us choose to get stressed about stuff that we could later learn to choose not to get stressed about. And I don't mean it's easy when I say choose. But my point is, definitely you can get better and better at seeing the bright side of things, at not over worrying about stuff, because worry doesn't help. And some of us have been taught that worry does help. If you've been raised in a family like that, where everybody worried about everything, you kind of get taught that that's how you deal with stuff, but worry doesn't really help. And so I really encourage you, just try to work with your stress. This is something that I try to do too, poorly, by the way, most of the time. But I do try to catch myself and say, is this really, really something to worry about? Is anybody going to die here? Is this really that kind of stuff? And even if they are going to die, is my stressing going to help them? Is that what they need right now? Do they need me stressed out too? And usually the answer is no. And most things aren't really that big a deal. So just things to think about, that it's not just that life is stressing you. It's that you're allowing it to stress you too. So keep that in mind. That I know that's easier said than done. Believe me. Some of the things that help with stress are self-affirmations. And another super important research-based point here, can't emphasize this enough. Here's what's interesting. Here's the reason, by the way, I do gratitude sessions with you guys and not self-affirmation sessions. Gratitude is giving gratitude for things that you are actually grateful for, and you look for them. Like when I call on you and say, what are you grateful for today? You're like, the roof over my head. You actually find something that you're truly grateful for. A lot of studies show that affirmations don't work if you don't believe them. In fact, if you don't believe them, you're really reminding yourself it's not true. So if I walk around because I feel poor and I say I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I know that I'm saying it because I actually feel poor. So all the studies show that affirmations work when you find evidence of those. So what you have to do if you're going to do affirmations is kind of like gratitude. You have to say I'm rich, and then you have to say, for example, I'm going to school. That is investing in my financial future. That is something a rich person would do. For example, I've got clothes on my back. That is something that somebody with financial means would have. For example, you have to prove the affirmation to yourself. So it doesn't mean you have to believe it right when you say it, but you've got to find evidence for it. This is training your brain to see the thing you want. That's why affirmations reduce stress. You can't just say, I'm brilliant. You have to be like, I'm brilliant because look how I did on that test. Or look what I learned from that situation after I did poorly on that test, but there's still signs of brilliance there, whatever. You have to find evidence of that. Otherwise, it does not work. Thoughts? Comments? Ms. Torres, you still have your hand up. Did you have something to say?
No.
Okay. You sure? And spiritual wellness. Finding meaning. Finding meaning in what you do. It's one of the things that I'm extremely grateful for all of you for, is that when you share your lives with me, you remind me of what's meaningful about life, right? And the different ways you can look at it. And that's actually one of the things that provides spiritual meaning in my life for, and that you're teaching me. So, finding meaning in your existence. I'll tell you one of the cool things about massage is that people share really personal stuff with you on the massage table. And it's kind of like you get a little glimpse into how a different human being, hundreds, thousands of them, see life. And it's a very deeply spiritual, precious kind of thing to do. I think you'll get a lot out of it. There's just something about really getting to talk to people in this really close manner and really getting to feel how they think and all that kind of stuff. Yes, Ms. Torres, please.
Yes. That is so amazing. Like, honestly, that is the reason why I love what I do. Well, the main reason is just when people talk to you and the way their brain works, or the way they see life, or what they went through, or it's like you don't even have to go out there and meet people. You just, like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Like, I love that.
I do too, yeah. I'm glad to hear you say that, yeah. Yeah, they're paying you, and they're sharing all sorts of very interesting stuff, by the way. And it can be very helpful in your own life, too. I've gotten lots of advice. I don't think they thought they were giving me advice, but lots of advice from clients. It's good stuff. Okay. Let's stop right